good to know that you're watching the national broadcaster this lovely evening. Here to inspire and, of course, to update you on different matters, and, of course, that is to do with national importance. That is what we do right here. My name is Sandra Kahunde. Well, this particular episode is quite interesting, and it's a special edition that is coming your way this evening. And that is to put into focus what the plans that a National Water and Sewage Corporation has in store for you. That is as far as implementing a corporate plan that is between 2021 and 2024 within the larger framework of the National Development Plan 3. And putting that into perspective, of course, they're appreciating you for paying your bills and, of course, being a good citizen. That is our insight and focus at this time round for this very special edition. And to put that into focus or into perspective, I'm joined by the engineer at KAMPALA Water, that is a general manager, KAMPALA Water engineer MAHMOOD LUTAAYA is going to give us more insight in as far as that is concerned. And just for facts, getting facts right there, one of the key fundamentals that they do have is to move towards water for all citizens of Uganda in all areas gazetted to National Water and the Sewage Corporation. Now, effective revenue generation is one of the significant driving forces of Water for All agenda. That and much more, we're going to be hearing it from the general manager himself. Good to have your company. How is your evening?
Thank you, Sandra. My evening is, I would say, pretty good. And it's a pleasure to be here with you and to talk and discuss with our customers on the updates on some of the plans we have in National Town.
Well, it's good to have big brains and very patriotic serving the nation, just getting to know how is work, how has business been like, how is National Water itself? I
would say work is challenging. It's always challenging, and I think that's what makes it interesting. And as National Water is, I would say, it's pretty okay. We are committed to our agenda, like you mentioned earlier. Capacity to serve the demand that we have in the city, given the fact that the city has been growing at a very tremendous pace. But as I speak right now, from the time we commissioned our big plant in Katosi, we have the capacity to meet the demand. We're now producing every day. We have the capacity to produce almost 400,000 cubic meters per day. That is almost 400 million liters per day, which is enough because the demand is estimated to be around 300 million liters per day. So we have capacity to meet the demand in the city, and there's been significant improvement as far as water supply reliability is concerned in the city. Most of the places, I would say almost 90% of the area we serve is able to receive reliable supply. The number of areas that are still challenged, mainly the outskirts of the city, the western part of Kampala, that's Chengira, Wakiso, parts of Matuga. The areas where people still are not able to get water 24 hours the way we would want to serve them. But we have a number of projects we are implementing to evacuate, because like I said, we have enough water in the system. Our now commitment to see how we can evacuate that water so that we take it and serve those areas that are right now a bit stressed. Yeah.
Well, I love the confidence that you have enough water to supply. Is it because of the heavy rains that we've been having? But anyway, speaking about water itself, water is life, and it's a human necessity that one should also have. To someone out there watching would really wonder, why do we really have to pay for water?
Water is life. and we all believe in that, and it's a fact, and you only appreciate it, especially when you don't have it, then you realize that, okay, without water I can barely survive. Now you find that what we do is, as a corporation, we make efforts to make sure that water is, we abstract for most of it, like for the case of Kampala, we get water from the lake. Most of it is got from Lake Victoria. We have two big plants. One is in Gaba, that's the old one. We have 3 plants in one. Then you have the new one in Katosi. So one would argue that, okay, you get this water for free from the lake. So once we pick it from the lake, and those that have had the chance to look at the quality of that water in the lake, it's not close to safe for anyone to drink. So we abstract it, we treat it, and make sure that it is safe for human consumption. So getting it from the lake, we use a lot of power. Treating it, we use a lot of what? Chemicals. And then we have it transported. If you're getting it from Katosi, talk about 55 kilometers from around here. So you carry it all the way from Katosi to places like this. If you're getting it from Gaba, talk about also that distance. So it has to be transported. In the process, you have to pump it, use a lot of energy, use a lot of chemicals, and then there are all these other requirements. When the pipe breaks down and you have to repair them, then you have the people we use to provide the service to repair those pipes. So there are so many inputs someone puts in to have this service provided. So there's a huge cost that we incur as a corporation, make sure that by the time this water reaches your home, first of all, it is safe, and most important, it's also very reliable with the right quantity. So we spend a lot in terms of production and transporting this water, and make sure that it is continuously flowing at your home. So there's a big cost, and that cost is what, at the end of the day, someone has to pay for this service to be reliable. Now, of recent, and I think like you mentioned earlier, we've been having a challenge. As an organization, when you look at our vision, we're a customer-centric organization. Everything we do is about the customer. The customer is the reason we exist. That's our motto. So without the customer, as a corporation, we believe we don't have any reason to exist. So we've tried to put in place a number of interventions to make life as comfortable and convenient to our customers, to the extent that of recent we had said that disconnection is the last word. It's not even an option for us. No, not even an option. We had reached a level where we said disconnection is not even what?
It shouldn't be
because
anywhere in your vocabulary.
Everyone should have water at any time
so
they
what
need
happens?
it.
Now letting the viewer get to appreciate,
Yeah.
and they have to pay for you to incur,
exactly.
to be able to cater for such costs like the pipes breaking.
Yeah.
So what happens to those individuals or businesses or institutions that owe you money? What is going to happen?
So we've been running a principle that ideally we make everyone appreciate how important this service is, why it is important to pay for it. And I think that has been our gospel throughout, and has yielded a number of positives. So many customers have responded. A number of people have appreciated that, okay, they don't have to disconnect me to pay. And they've tried to understand the value of water and the fact that a person has a responsibility to pay for it to be flowing all the time. But unfortunately, again, there are those customers, few customers, who have also taken advantage of our laxity, and they've misused it in a way that for them they've now taken it to understood the other way around, that okay, water will always be there whether you pay for it or not. And as a result, we've accumulated very, very huge areas. So as I speak right now, we're talking about almost 176 billion in money, services provided but not paid for. So what does this mean, especially to us as a customer-centric organization, but also to the other customer who has been paying diligently? Because we have even customers who are in credit. They've appreciated the value of water to the extent that they've paid everything and say that, okay, they're the ones who are demanding us for services.
What kind of solutions?
So what is happening right now is that now the fact that we have a lot of money out there, service provided, not paid for, we are in a situation whereby we have, I talked about the inputs we need to provide these services. We have power to pay. An example, for the case of Kampala, with the 2 plants I talked about, every month we spend close to 4 billion just for electricity alone. And for the fuel that we use to run the pumps, and also for our staff to move around, we spend almost 500 million every month. So we reach a point where we're not able even to pay for the power because someone has not paid. What does this mean to a person who has been paying diligently? It means that time will come when we are not even able to provide the service.
Well, the solutions you're looking into, is the prepaid meter going to be a solution as well?
No, we're not. The solution right now we're talking about is everyone should pay for the what?
To pay for their service.
For the service. Because this biggest challenge we have is that, like I said, there are customers who have been very positive and very supportive of our efforts, and they've paid for their bills, even though they're prepaid meter. They're paid, and even some of them are on credit. But there's a certain category of customer again who can even spend almost 2 years even without paying a coin. And as a result, we've accumulated huge areas that is making our ability to provide the service unsustainable. Now, the direction we've taken as a corporation, and this has been a very painful decision, is to make sure that we are now aggressive as far as disconnection is concerned. So any customer who has outstanding bills, you've consumed the services and you haven't paid for them, you're going ahead to have your services disconnected as one of the interventions to make sure that we're in position to sustainably provide the service to the other customers who have been diligently paying for it.
Well, the policies or maybe principles one can have.
Yeah.
At the end of the month, you have your pay. You're like, I need to pay myself first, cater for the other bills as well.
Yeah.
Some tips for someone out there who wants to be able to be good at paying their bills.
So I think the starting point, all of us, is, like we said, water is life. We appreciate how important water is, the value of water. Without it, we can barely survive as individuals and even survive as a country. So if we, at the end of the month, I want to believe all of us should have the general consensus that water should be the priority as far as payment is concerned. Because once people are able to pay for the service, that's the only way as National will be able to sustain the service. And that's what we're trying to sensitize our customer about, that I know we have so many demands, as at the end of the month. But among those demands, I think one of the items that should feature at the top of our priorities should be what? Water. Should be water. And some people have done that. But unfortunately, there are those who believe water is always be what? In terms of priority, should be down there. And that's what we've had to take this painful decision to say that, okay, if you still believe that water shouldn't be a priority, then we're going to have your service disconnected.
How much does national water itself cost, like in terms of costs, on a general perspective?
We, as a corporation, we have basically like 5 categories of customers. We've tried to appreciate that not everyone is able to, we have, in terms of income, people earn a bit differently. So we have a tariff that looks after people who are not able even to have water in their homes. We call this one as the pro-poor tariff. This tariff is supposed to cater for omuntu awansi. So for that tariff, and we've tried to sensitize this over and over again, a 25 litre, because the 20 litre jerrycan is one comparison you can use to try to appreciate the cost of water. For a person who is on the pro-poor tariff, and we've tried to put a number of taps within the city. If you can't have water in your home, we put a public point that you can, where you can be able to access this service. So National charges for a 20 litre jerrycan, we charge it only 25 shillings for those points. Now, there are people who have managed to put water in their homes. We call that category domestic accounts. So if you have water, you're able to have it in your home. You have your private connection. So for that kind of customer, a 20 litre jerrycan costs around 88 shillings. That's, again, that's how cheap water is, for not even 100 shillings, but 88 shillings. Then another category are customers that are using water for commercial purposes. So you have water and you're using it for business. For that jerrycan only costs around 105 shillings. Again, even if you're using it for business, a 20 litre jerrycan is 105 shillings. So you find that you're not going to get so many things in this country right now that cost that less than 100 shillings, apart from a 20 litre jerrycan that is provided by National Water. So at the end of it all, when you look at then also what government tried to do is to make sure that the tariff for water supports industrialization. So the industries have a very, very competitive price when it comes to water. A 20-liter jerry can, if for industries, is only 59 shillings.
59
Shillings, yeah. So,
speaking about the affordability itself, maybe
yeah,
let the viewer get to understand the payment options
yeah.
in regards to e-billing as well.
So what we've tried to do, again, to create a lot of convenience to our customers. Previously, I think some time back, you would have to visit our offices to make payment for water. But right now, we've made it so convenient that at any time, any day, you can pay your water. You can pay through your mobile phone using any of the payment options, whether it's Airtel money or a mobile money. So we have payment through the phones. You can pay through the banks, or most of the banks are among our partners when it comes to payment. So we made payment of bills as convenient as possible for all our customers.
Well, earlier on you spoke about the costs that you incur, and then the pipes breaking as well, and the customers who abscond and they're not fulfilling when it comes to paying for the service. What are some of those other challenges that you look up to now that we have few months, 2 months left for the other budget reading? You could be having challenges that you've been facing.
So right now, I think the biggest challenge we're facing as a corporation is our ability to sustainably provide the service. That is our biggest challenge. We have a number of commitments we put in the corporate plan, and like we mentioned earlier, all those commitments geared toward make sure that the person who has no service gets the service. Our water for all agenda, that is our commitment now. We're being challenged by our inability to deliver on that commitment because there are a number of customers right now who are not fulfilling their responsibility as far as payment is concerned. Like I mentioned earlier, right now we have a total of around 176 billion in unpaid bills. So we're trying to push to make sure that everyone fulfills their responsibility as far as payment is concerned. And that will enable us as an organization to sustainably provide the service, but most importantly, it will also extend services to those people who might not have it right now. Yeah.
Well, you're looking at water for all, for everyone in Kampala and Uganda as a whole. What are some of those innovations that you're putting in place, or strategies that you're putting in place for everyone to have that satisfaction?
So the number of innovations we're doing as a corporation, there are so many innovations on the side of customer service. That's why of recent we had to digitize our bill deliveries. You don't have it to have it physical the way you used to do. Now you can receive it on your phone. We've digitized our new connection process. So it means that any time of the day before, to get a new connection, you have to wait for the opening hours of our offices. Right now, the fact that we put the whole process online means that even if it's on a Sunday, whether it's at midnight, you can apply for a connection, and you don't even have to visit our offices to have your connection processed. So all these are innovations we're bringing on board to make sure that the services are convenient, but also most important, they're also efficient on the side of the customers. But so in terms of operations, one of the biggest challenges we're facing right now are the losses we have in Kampala, and most of them are due to people stealing. So we have a lot of theft, especially in Kampala. People are trying to find all ways of not paying and also stealing the water. So we're having a lot of partnership with different agencies, especially police, to see how we can deal with that vice, and also bringing on technology. So you're going to see a lot of technology you're bringing on board that is going to make it very, very hard for any person who has even any idea of stealing water.
Okay. Well, dear viewer, good to know that we're still having your company. Our topic of discussion during this special edition, we're looking at the bill payment and service continuity as far as National Water and Sewage Corporation is concerned. And our guest for the day has been giving us more insight in regards to that. I'm having the General Manager, Kampala Water, that is Engineer MAHMOOD LUTAAYA. A few minutes left for us for this very discussion. You talked about the new technologies coming in place when it comes to the meters themselves. How have you been dealing with the theft itself or the vandalism when it comes to the equipment itself?
The vandalism has been a very big challenge for us, but what we've tried to do a number of things. One is try to do a very aggressive community sensitization and engagement, because we believe the service has to have a lot of ownership at the community level and the customer level, and it has also yielded a lot of positive benefits for us. So working very closely with the communities to try to deal with the problem of vandalism of our assets. The other thing also we have had to add a lot of partnership with sister institutions like Umeme, like KCCA also could be facing similar challenges as far as vandalism is concerned. And also we are engaged aggressively with some of the security agencies to try to assist, because they have the infrastructure to sometimes deal with some of the issues that we are facing with. So we've used quite a cocktail of strategies and interventions to make sure that at least also that problem of vandalism of our infrastructure is sustainably dealt with.
Okay. Well, before we let you go, maybe a word of encouragement to the viewer, the person who has been very loyal and appreciates your services, a word to the viewers who's been following.
I think to the viewers, first of all, I want to sincerely appreciate and thank our customers, especially those that have been very, very supportive to our efforts to provide the service and serve those people who are not served. So as a corporation, our commitment is water for all, like we mentioned, and which is stated in our corporate plan. We have an agenda to make sure that every Ugandan, where we serve as National Water, has access to safe water, and we won't rest until we achieve that. We also want to request and encourage those customers that have outstanding bills. Most of them know themselves. If you have outstanding bills, if you've taken some time without paying, this time around we are very, very aggressive. We are having a non-tolerance to non-payment. We are aggressively disconnecting anyone who hasn't paid for the bills. And but we believe, again, disconnection should be the last what? The last option, or not an option at all. If we can all positively respond and support each other and support us in our efforts to make sure that we can sustainably provide you with safe water at all times.
Well, it's been an honor spending time with you, and of course giving more insight to the viewers watching. We hope with the agenda that you have for the National Development Plan 3, at the end of the day, you'll be able to sit back and fold your hands and like, yes, we serve the Ugandans better.
No, we should be together, sit back and say, yeah. Yeah, thank you.
With the rest of the Ugandans as well.
Yeah, sure.
Wish you all the best when it comes to the projects and the innovations that you're here to put in place.
No, thank you.
Well, that's all we had time for this special edition that came your way this lovely evening. It's good to have your company. More programs lined up for you right here at the National Broadcaster. My name is Sandra Kahunde, and our guest for the day, the General Manager, Kampala Water, Engineer MAHMOOD LUTAAYA.